So, um, The Last of Us. So, The Last of Us is now a show that it's in the culture. Okay, it's in the culture, and this is a show that anybody who's a gamer, like myself, is really, really want to see part two. I love, and by the way, guys, don't forget on Tuesday, you can follow me on Twitter. Handles down there. Don't forget, we are going to be having the editor on Tuesday afternoon. So if you want a question, if you're interested in asking a question, please shoot Kyle or I a tweet. Give us your name, your state where you're from, and ask your question, and we will make sure to get that to Timothy. So, anyways, the fact is, this is now blown up so much. So, as the graphic says, the premiere episode, and it's the second highest, and it climbed to 22 million viewers across all the platforms. I believe, and I could be wrong about this, I believe that the first episode is now free on YouTube, so you can go check that out if you want to get into this. Last Sunday's episode jumped 22% in the overnight ratings. That's incredible. And Billstown's going to be tomorrow. We're going to have episode 3 of this 9-episode series tomorrow. But the big news that Neil Druckmann dropped yesterday was they are going to be making The Last of Us Part 2. Anybody who's a gamer, anybody who liked this show, I am so excited, like fanboy excited about this, because I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out, and who are they going to get to play Abby? Who are they going to get to play Jesse? So, as you can see, this had over 200. This game is one of the most decorated games ever. It had over 200 awards given to it. It won Game of the Year. IGN, GameVit, everybody loved it. You can go back on the page, and I'll put that link down in the description. So there's a 4-part series about that Benjamin and myself did about why The Last of Us 2 is arguably the greatest game of all time. Easily, hands down. The writing, the storytelling, the journey, everything. If they adapt this small screen, I can't wait. I'm not going to, anybody who hasn't played the game, I'm not going to give away the spoilers, but it's one of those things where, boy, does it rip your heart out. So the next question, after Neil Druckmann actually greenlit the second season, a lot of, including myself, I'm guilty of this. I don't usually like to do X actor or Y actor to X part or Y part, but in this case, I'm going to. The fact is, so who are we going to get? So the biggest thing that, the biggest thing that from the first part to the second part is there is a time jump. And that time jump is, so she plays 14, and then when we meet her in part 2, she's 19. So, that being said, who are they going to get? Are they going to keep Bella Ramsey? Okay? Because I think she's great right now as Ellie, but I don't know if she could be as good for Ellie in part 2. So, the one person I would say, and mind you, so she is part of the HBO family, and she was in just in the House of the Dragon. And so this photograph's from her IMDb, and she looks young. And so, mind you, this wouldn't start filming for at least 2 to 3 years, is Millie Alcock. I think she would be a perfect Ellie for this. Now, once again, you need somebody to actually be able to go head-to-head with Abby. So, I don't know. This would be a fascinating thing. I'm sure that they're talking about this right now. and who they get. So, yeah, guys, definitely leave your thoughts down in the comments. Who would you get to play all of these characters? So, that is a thought for Ellie at 19. Another one, so Abby, so here are the, here, this name is not correct. I saw that, and that's not right. It is not Shannon Woodward, actually. But here are the face models. The face models and the actresses for the parts in part 2. So she actually played Dina, okay? And so Jocelyn was just the face model. They actually used somebody else's body and did the part. So I'd be curious to see if they actually wanted to go out. I don't know if Jocelyn is an actress, but I think she'd be spot on for Abby. So that's something to be said. And so it's one of those things where I think that, you could very easily do that and very easily have that done. I can't wait for this show. I can't wait for this. I can't wait to see how this is going to translate. So it's just one of those things where this is, as I said before, it's one of the best games of all time. I mean, you can think of Elden Ring, and you can think of, all these other games out there, these RPGs. Nothing compares to this game. Nothing. And if you haven't played it, it's, so, I mean, they just, Naughty Dog and PlayStation, everybody else just did a story that, the sales just skyrocketed. Like 1,000, I mean, it was maybe not 1,000, but it was like 200 or 300%. This game, I know they're coming out with a remastered version of part 2. They're coming out with factions. The multiplayer version, I know they're coming out with a PC version, I think in March. An amazing, amazing game. I think that this game just, wow. So it's one of those things where I think that it's, if they translate, look, I'll say this much. If they translate this to TV as well as these first 2 episodes have been done, this is going to clean up the Emmys. Clean up. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Because it's something that, once again, everybody's talked about this. Good video game adaptations are so rare. And when you finally have one, to finally break the mold, it's like getting a monkey off your back, right? So, guys, do me a favor. Give me your thoughts down in the comments about who you want to see play Abby. And do you think they should bring back the actress that played Dina? Do you think they should get Amelia Alcock to play Ellie at 19? Who do you think they should get? I want you to do a little fan casting. Tell me who you would get to play all of these roles. Yeah, definitely leave your thoughts down in the comments. I'm dying to figure out and find out who you guys want. But as I said, I mean that's basically it for this roundup. Like I said, it was really, really short. We had a couple stories. Kyle wasn't here, so it's a little shorter. Couple of things though. As I said, Tuesday, we have a huge interview coming up. I mean, he is the editor of the #1 streaming show on television today, and that is Timothy Good. If you want to see this interview, come. I'm gonna get the studio ready. On Tuesday morning, guys, stop by. This is gonna be huge. We're gonna pick his brain about not only The Last of Us, but his career. Would he go work on has Neil talked to him about working on The Last of Us Part 2? So many other questions. Yeah, and we've got a ton of stuff coming up for you on the channel. And if Guys, like that ticker says, hit that like and subscribe button because we have a ton of stuff coming up on the channel. That's the only way that I know. That's the only way Kyle knows that you like the content. Leave comments. Leave comments down in the comment section because we'll get back to you, every single one of you. We're just starting to grow and we want a lot of eyes on this. So, but I want to show you guys what we have, and I know I do it every time, but this is what is coming up for 2023. We have a huge 2023 plan for you. So after every single episode, including the Super Bowl, okay, including the Oscars, okay, I know that, and it's interesting, it's fascinating. This is going to be done for another time, but, episode 6 is going to be during the Super Bowl in 3 weeks. And then the last episode, the season finale, is going to be on Oscar night. So that will be interesting to see. Every single Sunday, we are going to be doing streams for you guys. It's going to be Kyle. It's going to be Destiny Jackson from Deadline. It's going to be Tyler, and it's going to be myself. And we're going to be talking about everything about it, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought they could have improved on, what we really enjoyed. Anyways, guys, come to those streams. Say hi. Leave your comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, we'll answer those at the end of the streams. Yeah, so this is going to be going on. We're going to be doing this since, when it premieres all these years later, we're definitely going to be doing The Last of Us 2. So, most definitely. Starting only in a few weeks, we have AntMan Quantumania coming out. So we're going to be doing spoiler for these. We're going to be doing spoiler cast. Kyle and I are for every single one of these. So you're not going to be getting the weekly roundup, but you definitely will be getting spoiler casts in lieu of that. So, as I said, AntMan. AntMan is going to be the first one we're doing a spoiler cast for. So, that premieres in a couple weeks. That looks amazing. Jonathan Majors is going to have a huge year. I can't wait to see how he plays Kang. Yeah, that's going to be a blast. Speaking of Jonathan Majors, he's going to be in another film, a little film next month with Michael B. Jordan, and that is Creed 3. Okay? He looks, and Tyler actually worked on the reshoots of this. He actually met Jonathan Majors. We can get his comments, later on. We'll even maybe have him on for the that spoiler cast. But he said he was jacked. He was absolutely jacked. So, and I can't wait to, see this. And I own Creed 2. I have yet to see Creed 2. So that will be, I know the plot of it. I still want to see it, though. But this is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. So this is going to be interesting to see. And this is a huge, huge film out of the gate for him. I mean, anybody directing for the first time, it's going to be a lot of work because you're starring and directing like Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born and everything else. But this is huge. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to take this. Then we have Guardians. So we're going to skip into. There are other movies. I should say this. There are other movies coming out the rest of March and all of April. Okay. We just need to take some time and breathe a little bit and everything else. So it's not that they're not important. It's just, we also want to bring you the very best content we can. So March 5th is when the summer really kicks off. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Dave Bautista is not coming back. We know that. As a matter of fact, Knock at the Door will premiere next week. M. Night Shyamalan is making the rounds at premieres around the world right now. So that's fascinating. But this looks amazing. This is James Gunn's last iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy and his last go around at Marvel. So he wrote and directed this. I'm sure this is going to be an amazing film. I can't wait as millions of other people to see what happens, and see how that whole thing plays out. The next week, we have Spider-Man Across the SpiderVerse, the sequel to the arguably one of the not only the best Spider-Man movies, but animated movies of all time. So that's going to be interesting to see. So that being said, I have yet to see the first one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until May, and then I'm going to go see that, and then I'm going to go see the second one, and then that way I can see it back to back. We have Transformers. I know Kyle's really, really looking forward to seeing Transformers. We're going to cover it. I myself, I'm done with Transformers. I mean, I think I've been done for years with Transformers. There's nothing else it can give me that I haven't already seen or done. So it will be a fascinating watch, though, for sure. So, The Flash, arguably, probably, no, not probably, without a doubt, the number one most anticipated movie of the summer, because this has been a saga and a soap opera for probably the better part of 2 years. Ever since Ezra Miller had all those legal problems and how it's going on and what it's doing. And, so we'll see how this performs. I don't know how good it's going to be. A lot of people have said it's tested well. It's tested better than The Dark Knight, but once again, it's a test. Once you get it out there, and what are they going to do for promotion? We're only 3 or 4 months away from this movie, guys. Are they going to put a Super Bowl trailer out there? Who are they going to get to do the junkets? There's a variety of different questions to be asked about this. And as we get closer to June, we'll talk more about that. So, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I want to apologize for the graphics, guys. Got a little funky there. But the 5th and final Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford said he's done after this. We had a John Williams score. This is going to be, I'm really, we've had one trailer. Are we going to get another one for the Super Bowl? I suspect we are. This is going to be interesting. I didn't see King. I don't even acknowledge. It's like Ghostbusters 2. I don't even acknowledge Ghostbusters 2. I don't even acknowledge Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, that being said, so we're going to have Indiana Jones, and that will be a fascinating. So that is actually, it's interesting because that is at the end of June. And so leading into July, okay, we have Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible, and I was thinking about, I was watching something, I was listening to the actual podcast of Mission Impossible. It's called Light the Fuse. And I was listening to the 200th episode, which was done August of last year. And they had Tom Cruise on and everything else. And I've always publicly come out and said, I thought this would make $200 million opening weekend. And now I'm starting to backtrack from that because there's going to be so much good content and good movies out there for everybody. I mean, all those movies I just made mention of in June, I don't know if it's going to make $200 million. What I do know, opening weekend, what I do know, it's going to make a lot of money. It's going to make a lot of money. This is going to be the highest grossing Mission Impossible of all time. Not only because of the success of Top Gun, not only because of the because it is the last Mission Impossible, but because I think that they really, if you go back and listen to that podcast, they've really put everything into it. And it's got a huge, not saying that this is anything, but that budget is $290 million. Now, to compare that to anything, Infinity War and Endgame cost $250 each. $250 million, $250 million. So this is topping that. And it is part one of the finale. It's going to be fascinating to see where this ends. Because if they do it right, and I've always said this, if they do it right, the second one's just going to blow up, totally blow up. If not, and it's like the Hunger Games. I don't see it's going to do well. It's going to make its money, but it's not going to do as well as they hoped. Some films that have done it right are Infinity War and Harry Potter. So, like I said, but the stunts and everything else is just an amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait for that movie. And then finally, we have Oppenheimer the very next week. So, Christopher Nolan's back and he's doing his thing. And so there's actually one other film that I didn't make mention of, and that is the Barbie film. Greta Gerwig directed film about Barbie. And that's starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. I'm really curious to see how that does. Just because, not only because it's about the doll in itself, but because it's going up against a lot of other competition. So as we grow closer and closer to release date, I'll be curious to see how much this is projecting at. Because I think that, this is just me personally, this may sound snobbish, I think this is going to do better overseas than it's going to do here in the States. It's just a fact. Because we're more hypercritical. Okay? We, as a culture and everything else, are more hypercritical. So, but regardless. So that's coming out too. In August, I know Kyle's very much looking forward to the new Teenage Ninja Turtle movie. So that's coming out August 8th, I believe. So there's a lot of stuff on the channel that's going to be coming to you guys. Not to mention, I just went through all of that. Not to mention, we have our Perfect Movie series, okay? Which, next week, within 3 days, you guys are going to be getting your second Perfect movie, and that is Captain America: Winter Soldier. So that's going to be fantastic for you guys. That's already ready to rock and roll. That's great. You're going to be getting the first reactions the second week of February. I'm going to be sitting down and watching Fargo. So that's going to be all brand new content. Not to mention, you're going to be getting the roundup up until May. And you're going to be getting a video here and there during the week. Sometimes I'll do a show. Sometimes it'll be pre-recorded. So depends on the schedule. So all of that being said, there's a lot of content on there. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I know I keep saying it, but guys, this is what's going to drive this channel out to everybody. And I want this out to as many people as possible. We want this out to as many people as possible. And guys, tune in on Tuesday. That's all I got to say. Because the thing is, this is the number one show on streaming right now. And Timothy worked on 7 episodes. And I can't wait. I'm so eager to pick his brain, not only about what he does and how he does it, but about the industry, and talk about that. And we'll ask him, how do you get into being an editor? What do you have to do, and everything else. And it's going to be a fun time. So, and we're always looking out for interviews. So stay tuned for that. If we get any more, we'll put them out there to you. Okay, guys. I think that's about it. Thank you very much for tuning in. And let's do the 3 things we need to do. Be safe, be careful, and have a great day. Have a great weekend. All right. I'm David Steele, and you have been watching Real Talks. Bye-bye, guys.